Roll out!
Hello and welcome to That's Just Prime, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Go Optimus X Prime, or some people call him Optimus EX Prime, whichever way suits you best. This is the Optimus Prime for the Transformers Go series, which is a continuation of Transformers Beast Hunters, and it's a series that's currently going on in Japan. Now, there's a lot that this guy does, and there's a lot of stuff that he comes with, so let's get right to it. Released in January of 2014, this guy approximately retailed for about 50 to 50 yen, which, if I've done my research correctly, is approximately $50 or so. If I'm incorrect on that, by all means, please go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know. But I got this guy imported, and I paid about $60 for him, so I think that's about right. As you see here, Optimus Prime is now a train, and I think that this is the first time that we've had an Optimus Prime, an official Optimus Prime, in train mode. I have other Optimus Primes that transform into trains, but as far as an official Hasbro, Takara release Optimus Prime, I think this is the first time that he's transformed into a train. This is a bullet train, and I'm not very familiar with the bullet trains. I'm not an expert on bullet trains, but as I'm made to understand, this is actually based on a real bullet train that you would see overseas. So I don't know what model it would be or anything like that, but as I'm made to understand, this is actually based on a real bullet train. He does have some small wheels down here on the bottom, so he does roll. He rolls surprisingly well for being on the little caster wheels like that, so that's really nice. One thing that really surprised me about this guy when I first got him, I haven't seen a bunch of reviews of him online. When I got him in hand, the thing that surprised me the most about him is how big he actually is. This guy, I don't think it translates well on camera, how big he is. When I saw the reviews on him, I'm thinking he was about somewhere in between Deluxe to Voyager size, just by watching the reviews online. And then when I got him in hand, I was surprised to see how big he actually was. He's a large Voyager size. He's a really good size figure. Here in train mode, he's approximately 9 inches long and about 2 inches tall at the top of the train here. He does come with accessories. He comes with a bunch of accessories. He's got these two Kabutos that comes with him. And with these guys actually transform into several different things. He is a triple changer and a combiner, so these guys come into play for all of that. These guys combine into a shield for robot mode. They also combine in a different mode for the dragon mode, which we're going to get to in a little bit. Also, if you look at here, there's a head on that one there, and then this guy over here, if you open the mouth kind of Voltron style, there's another head in there. So these guys are actually going to be part of the combination for some of the other figures that you can get with him. And then he's also got these two gigantic swords that he comes with. So he's got all these different accessories. And again, something that I don't typically do is show off the box, but I'm going to here just because it's not something that I'm planning on getting. But you can see here, this is the back of the box, and you can see the picture of Optimus X Prime right here in the center. And what they're showing you here is that if you get these two figures on this side, you can combine the three of them with the Kabuto, and you make this one big robot over here. And then if you get these two guys over here, you can combine the three of these guys with this Kabuto and makes this other combiner robot over here. At this time, I'm not planning on getting any of these other robots. I'm only sticking with Prime. So I wanted to show off because it really does explain. Because when you have them by itself, you look at these things and you kind of go, well, what's the point? You know, I don't see what the point of these is. Because they're like I said, they combine into a shield, but it's not a very good one. And they do combine as accessories for him in train and robot mode, but they're not exactly very good accessories. And really, it's because the point of them is for the combinations. Now, there is a way to put these into the train. I'll go ahead. It's a little silly, but I'll go ahead and show you those. One thing I am going to say right off the bat, if you get these, be sure to pay close attention to the little tabs right here on the bottom. There's these little tabs there and there that are used to combine these guys for the shield mode and the carry mode and all of that. Be very, very watchful of these. When I got mine, as you can see this side, let's see if I can get some focus here. If you look on this side, I am not getting any focus. Here we are. You can see that it's already showing stress marks, especially on the inside there. You've got a stress mark right there. And then on this side, I had a stress mark going all the way around it. And the very first time that I tried to plug these guys in together, if you look at the two tabs there, there's two ports here that these guys are going to combine with. And that's all they plug in together with. That's it. You know, there's not a whole lot of anything else to support the weight when he's trying to, you know, you can see the handle there. So you're probably guessing how these combine into some sort of a shield, but there's nothing there holding the weight. And the first time that I put these two together, this one piece just started to weigh down and pop down. It broke that off. Just the very first time. So I mean, these are very, very weak little tabs here. Pay close attention to those and be very careful. I've glued it back together for the review. I'm hoping that it'll stay together for the review. If it breaks off during the video, you'll know why. But there is a way for him to carry these parts in the train mode here, and I'll go ahead and show you that. Like I said, it's a little silly. I typically don't. Typically, for the most part, I keep these parts in the box and put away. I usually just keep a sort out for Optimus and robot mode. Everything else is typically put away. I pulled everything out for the review. So what we're going to do here is there are two tabs, or not tabs. Well, I showed you the two ports on this side. That's going to be for plugging in with this guy. And then on the bottom side, there's two more ports here. And if you look on the back of the train, there's these two tabs here. So this guy's actually going to tab there and there. And it's not very secure. This is the kind of thing that if you wiggle it around or whatever, it's going to pop off. And then this guy here, like I mentioned before, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the head is all the way forward the way I have it now with these wings folded up like this. And what's going to happen here is that you see the bottom here, the handle, it looks like it's at an angle, and that's actually by design. That handle is going to go into this port right in there, and then the two little tabs on the bottom are supposed to plug in to the other kabuto there. So we'll try and get that on camera as best we can. And it's difficult to do. It's very fiddly. It's not, so it doesn't like to hold steady. It's actually not holding steady for me at all at the moment. There it goes. It went in. And I'm not even going to plug those tabs in for fear of breaking them. But here's what it would look like. You would have that mass of kabutos and swords hanging, a very top-heavy mess of kabutos and swords hanging from the top of the train. It doesn't look good. It's not something that, like I said, I keep these things put away. I don't typically have them out. But if you like to have the kabutos out, you have to if you like to have all the accessories out and you want to store them in vehicle mode, that would be how you would do it. And I'm not even going to bother with it any further from that point because I'm afraid to break the tabs off again. So we're just going to set those aside and we're going to move on to the transformation. Like I mentioned before, he's also a triple changer. He goes from he goes from train to dragon to robot mode. Now, obviously, his two main modes are the train and the robot mode. The dragon mode is more of an in-between mode. I'm going to tell you right now, honestly, my opinion personally, it's not a very good one. I'm going to show it to you anyway because it's there, but it's not something that I typically do. I really don't even like it. For me, the figure is all about the train and the robot. That's really it. Everything else beyond that, it's just bonus. It's there. It's cool. If I like it, I use it. If I don't like it, I don't use it. And that is a perfect example of how to take a look, how to look at this figure. For me, it's just train and robot. Everything else is just bonus. So let's go ahead and take a look at the. Before we go into that, actually, we have, he does have lights and sounds. I can't believe I almost forgot that. I went into the accessories and then I almost went into transformation. He does have lights and sounds. Obviously, this is a Japanese figure, so they are all in Japanese. I have gone through hours and hours of research and fact-checking and double-checking to make sure that I have understood what all the phrases are so that I can go ahead and get them translated for you. And so we're going to go ahead and do that now. There's if you go to the bottom here, there's an on-off switch right here on the bottom. And as soon as you turn it on, you're going to hear your very first phrase. Here we go. And the very first thing he says when you turn him on is, "You are watching That's Just Prime." Now, if you look at the top of the train here, you're going to see a little Autobot symbol here. This is actually a button, so you can go ahead and press that for the rest of the sounds. In a second, you can see the lights here on the sides, and the second sound is obviously just a train passing by. The third sound, that means you're watching a review of me, Optimus EX Prime. Next one. Be sure to subscribe. Share this review with everyone you know, or I'll chop your face off with my swords. He got a little aggressive there, but okay. Next one. Don't move to Florida. There are sinkholes. I'm sure. I mean, I guess that's good. That's good advice. I'm hungry. Let's get takeout. I'll take you there in my train mode. And follow that up with transform, and off you go to get takeout in your train mode. So there you go. There's all the lights and sounds, properly translated into English for your enjoyment. Now let's get into the transformation. And like I said, we're going to go into the dragon mode first. So first thing you're going to do, and it's kind of we're going to get halfway to the robot mode. We're kind of just going to. It's almost the same transformation as if we were going into robot mode. Very few things are changed, and then it's like we're going to robot mode and we stop halfway, and then we add the caboodles for the dragon. You're going to start right here at the back here where the windows are, and between the cab and the windows, and there's these panels here that you're gonna want to separate, and they can be a little fiddly, but once you get them out, you got them out. There you go. So these guys are going to come back, and you can see the port and tab right there. So these guys are just going to accordion back on themselves and tab right there. These would be the feet in robot mode. They're actually plugged in. If you look, there's a port, there's a port rather on the bottom of the foot, and there's a tab right there. Same goes for both sides. So you just unplug the feet right there, and then you take the whole thing and just spin it all the way back. Now, this part's not supposed to come out. This part is plugged in here, and that wasn't supposed to come out, so you just leave that there. And you're going to leave the feet plugged in. You can see how the legs actually separate from each other, but these guys are actually supposed to stay plugged in together for the dragon mode. If you look at the bottom of what was the bottom of the train part here where the wheels are at, these parts are actually going to fold down and tab in to the sides there. And that's it for that. You're going to come to the front. You're going to take this panel here where you got the red and the white on both sides, and just take those guys and pull them straight out, and the whole front of the train is going to split and come forward, or come up to the sides. You take the top of the train right here, fold this all the way back, come down to the bottom. This guy, that was really, really weird. This actually came unplugged. This guy was actually all the way to the front in between these panels, or rather under these panels here. So when you open these panels up like so, this panel is going to come all the way back, and it's going to tab. Right, see the two tabs here into these two ports there, and it just kind of tabs back and it stays out of the way. Just like that. Like I said, the top of the train comes all the way back. This part tends to unplug sometimes, so just watch that and make sure that that stays plugged in. These two panels, these were the front of the train. These came straight up, just like so. And what's going to happen here is you take this part of the train and turn it, just like that. That's going to reveal the arms right there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take these panels, and they're going to swing forward. They're on these hinges here. Actually, they swung back, rather. So they swing back, and you can see that they're on these double hinges, and they're also on their rotation. So what happens is you swing it back, you reveal the arm, you take the whole panel, and you turn it, just like that. And then you finish swinging it back. It's not really going to plug in on anything, not yet anyway. It's not going to plug into the arm. It's actually going to plug into the front of the train here. And turn it back around. And then this part here that was the light of the train, you go ahead and turn this part around, and that's going to reveal the claws for the dragon. Do the same thing on this side, and just pull this out, turn it, push it back all the way, turn it back up again, and bring the claws out. Now, you're going to bring these guys down, and you're going to see that this tab here is going to plug into that port just on the bottom of the train there. So these guys just plug in right there. It's not the most secure connection either. Okay? And what happened here? These guys, this did something. Okay, there we go. And that's going to plug in right there. And it does get fiddly. This is kind of one of those, you transform them and then you put them on the desk for all to see. And that's pretty much it. So that is pretty much it. Now you just kind of straighten them out. There you go. That's what we've got now, which is kind of like an exploded train here. So what's going to happen here is the caboodles are going to come in. We're going to bring this one in first. This guy, push this back some, bring this up a little bit. So this guy is going to extend, and these leg parts are on a double hinge. So this guy, am I doing that right? Let me just make sure. Yes, I am. Okay, so this guy's going to extend on this double hinge here. And did I do that? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, it has a little bit of resistance here, and there for a second I thought maybe I was doing it in the wrong direction. So that's it. That's all you're going to do with this guy. And then you can see the handle on the bottom here. That's going to plug into this front part here. And this can get, when you're doing one thing, something else is going to unplug. So what I like to do is I like to take these leg parts back here and put them under the roof. And like I said, see, when I did that, the head came unplugged there. So, okay, so there's that first part. Second part, you're going to take this other caboodle, the one that with the bad tabs here, and we're going to take the swords and we're going to plug them back in the same way we had them for the train carry mode. Plug those guys right in there. Now on the bottom side here, you're going to see these two ports right there. On the top of the train, what was the top of the cab, you're going to see these two tabs there. So this guy is actually going to plug in right there. And this is going to be difficult to do and have on camera at the same time, because I'm not even going to try to look through the camera. I'm actually looking around the camera. There we go. So that plugs into there, and then it just sits there just like that. Straighten out your swords. The swords are supposed to be some sort of a wing or something. And there you go. That's your dragon mode for Optimus EX Prime. It looks better, I have to be honest, it looks better in person than it does in camera. When I saw these reviews, this guy reviewed, I watched several reviews on this, and I saw this on camera, and I thought, what a mess, I'm never going to do it. And obviously when I got it, actually I did it, because I knew that I was going to review them, and I needed to know how to do it and all of that. In all honesty, it doesn't look that terrible in person, but that's not to say that it's good. It's... it is what it is. It's, if you like this, then hey, awesome. I'm not bragging on you if you like this. But I don't. I mean, I don't think it's terrible, but I don't think it's something that is awesome and that I'm going to do all the time. I just noticed these things move. I wonder if that's for the robot mode, because there's a robot head there. I had never noticed that these things move. These things, as far as I knew, had always been back like that. So, but anyway, there's your dragon mode. It's not horrible. Here in dragon mode, he's approximately 13.5 inches long, and he's about 5 inches tall if you go up here to the top of the wings there. There's a lot of train that's still visible. Also, there's a lot of robot that's visible. You can see the fists there. You can see the back of the robot head right up in there. So, you've got a lot of other stuff that's visible, and that kind of takes away from the look of the dragon. If you're looking at it just strictly from the top like that, then I can see how you would go, oh yeah, look, there's a head, there's there's some claws and some spikes and whatever. I can see it. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But there it is. If you want to do it, there's your dragon mode. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset back to the train mode. I'm not going to take you through the whole transformation back to train mode, which is going to reset back to train, and then I'm going to do the transformation to robot mode. And here we are back in train mode and ready to transform into robot mode. So, once again, just like we did with the dragon mode, we're going to take these panels, we're going to split these panels right here on the side, and these can be hard and fiddly to do. Once you get one out, then the other one will come out easily. Come on, man. There we go. Okay, so once again, panels come back, the accordion back, and they're going to plug into the back right there. This time around, go ahead and split the legs. It's a lot easier to actually turn these guys around if you split them. Unplug the feet from the back of the train right there, and then these pieces are going to rotate all the way around, and these are going to form our robot legs. So once these are stretched out, go ahead and take these panels, fold them in, and then this time around we're going to take our feet and we're going to point them forward. That's one thing we didn't do before. So there's our feet. Going to the front of the train. If you remember, the top of the cab here, this just opens up just like so. Take the sides of the train here, go ahead in the front and the sides of the train, and just pop these open. And then this guy, you're not going to bring that back down like that, like you did last time, actually. What we're going to do this time around, we're going to go ahead, if you remember the first time when I did the drag and this part split up and I re-plugged it in. This time, you actually do want to unplug that from there, and you can see there's a double hinge there. And this is the piece right there that's actually plugged in here. And it goes right through that joint. It's actually pretty neat the way that works. So this plugs, or unplugs rather. This whole thing is going to come around and under the bottom. And as you can see, this is going to plug in, and then this tab is going to go right in there. And then this tab here is going to plug into that port on this blue piece, and that's going to hold everything together. So you can see this joint is going to plug in here, that tab there, just like that. And then the blue part here, this port is going to go into that tab there, just like that. And now everybody is, no, they're not. Now everybody's plugged in where they need to go. So there you go. Almost there, guys. Okay, so we're going to have to move the camera up because this guy gets tall. Like I said, he's actually a very good size for a Voyager. I was pleasantly surprised at the size of this guy. So again, the arms, these panels came all the way up. And this is going to reveal the arms. This time around, instead of turning these panels around, what we're going to do is we're just very simply going to fold them back on themselves, and you'll see that there's a tab and a port right there on the side of the arm. It's also not the most secure connection. And then this guy comes up, and then the opposite, this guy's got the port, and the arm's got the tab, and that tab's in right there. This part here can go all the way back now, just like that, and it's just going to rest on the back. Down here under the chest, you're going to see the silver piece here. You're going to pull this down, and it's going to lock into place, and that's going to simulate our Optimus Prime windows and grill piece. And then last but not least, we're going to get the head out right there on the top, straighten him out, and get him in full frame. And there we have Transformers Go Optimus EX Prime in his robot mode. And I really, really like this robot mode. I like this a lot. It's once again, we have a very different take and a very different look on Optimus Prime, yet we still manage to keep the overall look of what Optimus Prime is supposed to look like. You know, you look at this guy, you know you're looking at Optimus Prime. And that's what I love so much about this character, and what they do with him is that they find so many different ways, so many different vehicle modes, so many different transformations, and so many different ways to represent him. And yet when you look at him, you know you're looking at Optimus Prime. Here in robot mode, he is approximately 7.5 inches tall. As far as articulation goes, his head is on a rotation, no ball joint. He can't really look up or down, but you can go all the way around with him. And because he's on a panel that has the head go up and down, you can kind of make him look down a little bit, but it doesn't really work that well. So shoulders are on a rotation up here for the forward and backwards, and then you've also got an in and out right there. So it kind of makes for a universal joint. You've got a rotation right above the bicep. And you've got a good rotation. You got a good 90 right there at the elbow. There's no wrist articulation, unfortunately, and you get this panel that kind of gets in the way. But there is no waist articulation, sadly. But you do have a universal joint right here at the hip, so you know you can go in and out. You can go forward and backward. You can go all over the place with them. You have a rotation at the knee. You've got a bend at the knee. And unfortunately, because of the paneling, it does limit it a little bit. But there you go. And then you've got a little bit of tilt on the feet, but no no swivel. But he does do an A stance, and he does the A stance rather well. So there you go, guys. There is Optimus X Prime in robot mode. I really like the look of this thing. I really, really like the way this looks. And like I said, like I was saying earlier, for me, this figure is all about the train, the robot mode. I love the train mode. I love the robot mode. Everything else is just bonus. Now, bringing in the accessories here, obviously, he's got his 2 swords. So you can double wield swords, and now he can chop your face off with his 2 swords. That's weird. Why am I having so much trouble putting that in? That was weird. So you can give him some really cool poses with his dual swords. Those things are huge. Those things are massive. I really like the way those look. That's just massive. I really like that. You can move these guys around in the. Come on, man, that is this arm for whatever reason. This sword and that fist is tight. But you can also bring if you bring the sword up so that it's not going all the way through on the fist, you can bring the other one in here, and you can kind of do this double sword or double-sided sword kind of thing like that. And that just looks so bad. Look at that. That is awesome. He's going to do some damage with that. That is really, really cool. I really like the look of that. And then, like I mentioned earlier, these guys can be brought in, and you can actually plug these guys together. If you remember, they were tabbing in here and here, just like so. These guys would tab in. The purpose is that they tab in like this, and then there's a handle that sticks out far enough, and I think it's this one. Because the trick of it is that he doesn't have a whole lot of room with his arm. So there's one of these handles that sticks out. And once again, let me make sure that I'm doing it right. Because it's gotta be done in a way that he can actually hold it. You can't just give him any handle to hold because of all the kibble on there. The fist actually has to be able to go inside the armor just like that. See what I mean? So then he can hold that like that as a shield. You can also plug this one in, and I'm not gonna actually physically plug it in, but this guy can plug in. And let me bring the camera up. That would plug in like that to make a giant shield, which it starts getting a little ridiculous at how big it is. You can use the one piece like that, and I think that works better than the 2 pieces combined. Another thing you can do with these guys is that they both store. You can store these in the back. Again, if you're the type of collector that likes to have all the accessories out and accessible, these guys can be plugged into the bag. You have to move the. I'll take the swords off too, because there is a sword carry mode that you can do with these guys. So we'll just get him standing straight, and then we'll turn him around to the back here. You see he's got a couple of tabs right here on the back. So you can actually plug this guy in. Well, almost knocked the camera off the table. That's bad. Okay. So you can see the 2 ports here. You can actually plug these guys in there and there. And this actually gives them kind of a cool look. And then you bring that back down again. That actually gives them kind of a cool look with the spikes in the back. I actually really do kind of like that. And it's not horribly back heavy. The other one that I'm about to show you, the one for carrying the swords. I'm trying to get him to stand straight here. The one for carrying the swords does get heavy. So just a heads up on that if he starts to fall over. Which he's kind of trying to do on me now. So let's get him all the way on the frame there. And there you go. This one backpack, I actually kind of like the way that this one backpack looks because of the spikes on the back. I think that actually looks kind of cool. It's a shame that it pushes this up a little bit, because without it, this thing lays completely flat and you can't really see it. But with the spikes, it has to bring it up a little bit. But the spikes kind of make up for it. I actually kind of like the way that looks. It's kind of neat. I like it. So we'll go ahead and take this one off, and then we'll bring this guy in. And this guy can also plug in. And what you have to do here is, once again, you have to open this and move the head up, and just kind of put those spikes in between the wings there. And then you see your 2 ports right here. Those are going to plug in the exact same spot as the other guy did. And then this guy, once again, you can bring this back, and it's going to actually push it up a little further, even more than this guy did. But what happens here now is that you've got these ports on the side here where we've been plugging in our swords for the carry mode and train mode and for the dragon mode. So you can actually plug your swords in right here. And this is kind of cool because now you've got a backpack that actually carries the sword. However, I'm going to tell you, it's a giant backpack. This thing sticks out a whole nother figure's worth, sticking out straight back like that. And it does make the figure very back heavy. I'm just going to lean him against the wall so that he doesn't fall over, just to give you a look of what that would look like from the front. If you want to store him that way, if you want to display him on your shelf that way, make sure you have something holding him up. It does look okay. It looks pretty cool. You know, you've got the two swords in the back or whatnot. But if I was going to put any of the caboodles on him, I would put this one. I think the spikes look really cool coming off the back of him. And then have his swords in his hands. But as it is, I prefer this look right here. Just the plain robot mode with one sword is typically the way that I display him on my shelf. And let's get that in there. Okay. So there you go. That's typically the way that I would display him on my shelf. But as you saw, and as I told you at the beginning of the video, this guy does a lot of stuff. He's a combiner. He's a triple changer. And he's got weapons and shields and accessories. He does a lot of stuff. So you've got a lot of options of what you can do with him. And I think it's a really neat figure. He's very well worth the price that I paid for him. I'm very happy that I got him. I've had a lot of fun with this figure. I'm really enjoying it. It's if this is the kind of thing that you like, if it suits what you like, by all means, go and get it. I think it's a great figure. And, you know, if like I said, if nothing else is, like, for me personally, the whole thing is about the train and the robot. Everything else is just bonus, something to play with. But he's got a lot of options. There's a lot you can do with this guy. He's a great figure. I really like it, and I'm really happy to add him to my Prime collection. I think that about covers Transformers Go Optimus EX Prime. Please leave me a comment, give me some thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time on That's Just Prime.